All right, guess who's back? Back again for the second time today. Ty Butler in the house earlier today. Man, best moment of my career. Best moment of my career. I got an opportunity to interview Maurice Bernard, who is the star of General Hospital. And it's not a sports interview. He's a Niners fan. We didn't get a chance to get to that. But if you know me, judge if you want. My favorite show of all time is General Hospital. And if you told the 7-year-old Ty Butler he was going to have Sonny Corinthos on his live stream, that boy would not have believed you. And so today was pretty special. Sonny made his debut on General Hospital back in 1993 on this day, 33 years ago, 1993, which means I was 6 months old. So the guy I interviewed today made his debut on my favorite show and became my favorite actor 6 months after I was born. So if you missed it, go check it out. It's on the YouTube page. Subscribe to the channel at Ty D Butler. So you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram. And so tonight I'm back because Shukri Wrights, who does an excellent job on 97.5 The Fanatics on in Philadelphia. He's going to join us. New York native, moved to Philly. So it's a lot I want to talk to him about. The Knicks, Eastern Conference, does it run through them still? Now that LeBron and Jalen Brown are in Philadelphia. You got the football season about to start, so we could talk some Jets and Giants. But, yo, Jalen Hurts, man, for a quarterback who's only seen one other quarterback win the Super Bowl since he last won one, it was like he's got some disrespect that might not be warranted. But head coach, for all intents and purposes, on the hot seat, Nick Sirianni. And so a lot of NFL conversation to get into. We've got some games tonight, preseason games tonight. The Jets, they're in action tomorrow night against Tampa Bay. The Giants, they play, what is that? Sunday. The Giants play on Sunday, so it should be fun in the local area. But I'm looking forward to talking to Shukri Wrights. He's going to join us in a moment. Quick programming note for those of you who are streaming the Ty Butler Show, whether you're on YouTube or watching us via Twitter. I'm going to be hosting on ESPN New York, in radio, on the app, and streaming live on YouTube from 10 to 1 p.m. I'm in for Carlin. So 10 to 1 on the East Coast, or not just on the East Coast, but 10 to 1 Eastern. Listen to us wherever. You can watch us on YouTube, listen to us on the app, stream us live. I'm going to be in for Carlin. My man, Gary Sheffield Jr., he's going to join us in the 10 o'clock hour. So I'm hyped for that. I'm excited, man. He does an excellent job on his podcast. I had his co-host Jake on this show this week, a couple days ago. I think that might have been Monday. So we had some fun. I'm looking forward to it, doing that show tomorrow. And, of course, the Ty Butler Show every Sunday from 8 to noon. We've got First Watchables, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I still haven't watched the movie yet. I keep finding myself in the same situation where it's like the week goes on and on. And it's like, oh, wait, First Watchables was 10:30 on Sunday. Still haven't watched the movie. But before Shukri joins us on the show, the NBA schedule is out. We've been talking about it all week long. I think the NBA got it right. I cannot understand how folks are mad about a triple header to start the season. Why would you put it 3 o'clock? Yo, if you're a sports fan, the hell are you complaining about more games for? Now, listen, I don't, as a parent first, I'm a diehard sports fan, talk show host, the whole nine. As a parent, I don't love what Christmas Day has become because you've got the 5 NBA games, you've got the 3 NFL games, and we're on and popping from noon through 11. not 11:30 at night because the last NBA game is 10:30. So from noon to 1 o'clock in the morning, it's action packed. So I don't love that, especially because the games are good. Gotta, attend to the kids. Don't need my wife side eyeing me. So, and then also, I typically will do like fill in hosting. So I've got to be, excuse me, locked into the games. Christmas Day is an NBA holiday. And I'm not some shill. I'm not just saying that because the NBA is my number one sport. The reason why I'm saying that is because it's perfect. The basketball you can watch in passing. It's like, all right, tip off, Knicks, Spurs. You can watch the entirety of that game. But then, I'm a Laker fan, so 5 o'clock, I'm locked in. The other games, you start at tip off, check in right before halftime, start at the third quarter, and then if it's a close game late, I'm locked in. But you can't do that with the NFL. You cannot do that with the NFL. And so I'm actually annoyed about the Christmas slate. And now it seems like this is going to be part of what we have going forward. What I'm not annoyed about is making his debut on the Ty Butler show. He does an excellent job on 97.5 The Fanatic in Philly. He's a host and a producer. He's the co-host of Locked On MLB and NHL Game Night. He's doing a bunch of stuff. He's on SiriusXM. He's on YouTube. And he, of course, is Shukri Wrights, who is a tremendous talent. We need more people who look like us in this business.
So I agree.
I'm excited to have you on the show, my brother. What's going on?
Yo, Ty, first and foremost, thank you for having me on, man. Like, secondly, that's one heck of an introduction. And thirdly, but more importantly, I agree with what you said about that we need to have more representation of people that look like you and I. Two black sports radio on air talent in two of the top 10 major markets in the country, New York, Philadelphia. We need more of that for sure. And that's why personally, I don't take this for granted at all. Like, given the chairs that we're blessed to sit in and the mic that we get to sit behind of and doing what we do for sure. Like, thank you for having me on, man.
Real, absolutely, man. You've been showing me some love, and I came across your work. You're doing fantastic. So shout out to you, my brother.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you.
right, man. The representation. I think sometimes bosses, executives kind of forget that yes, there is a certain demographic that advertisers are appealing to, but there are also other demographics that go underrepresented and people who do want to hear from us on, especially when it comes to like, tough issues, controversial topics that we have the best perspective on. And so when it's like, hey, the NFL is doing a terrible job at hiring black coaches, and all you have are white dudes talking about it. Feels like a bit of a problem to me. So it's good to have you on here. I just started just with, I don't know if you have kids. Do you have kids?
I don't. I'm single and kidless.
Okay, so at Christmas Day, it doesn't bother you.
No.
I love sports, man. Like I live and breathe sports. It's like my entire life.
Yeah.
With 2 kids, bro, and a wife, I don't need 8 games on Christmas. I don't. Like, I'm a diehard NBA.
Wow,
bro, I'm a diehard NBA, and I love all the sports, but NBA is my number one. So with basketball, it's easy. Like you can watch it, no pun intended, in passing. I'm a Laker fan, so I'm watching a Laker game in its entirety. I'm in New York, gotta watch the Knicks game in its entirety. Otherwise, like you can kind of duck in and out, like check in, crunch time. Yo, when you throw on top of that 3 NFL, you can't watch football in passing. So I've got that going on. I've got my 2 kids. I got my wife side eyeing me. It's like, come on, Goodell and Silver. Y'all gotta look out for the families.
You see, here's the thing, and there's a lot to like can dive into on what you're saying. Number one, I'm gonna start with the family aspect. I was once married myself, and I understand that like when you're married, your responsibilities get amplified. You are the protector, provider, and the maintainer of the household, especially even more so when kids come into play, as you do for your wife and whatnot. So it's like you got to make sure that they're taken care of, that they're happy, et cetera, et cetera. But when you work in sports, now this is the other element that comes in. When you work in sports, this is why for me, like when it comes to like any women who I'm talking to or I'm dating and whatnot, they know right there, like, listen, I work in sports. It's not BS. You actually listen to me on the air. You listen to me like whether I'm doing like the Locked On MLB Game Night, NHL Game Night on Sirius XM and across all podcast platforms and YouTube. You know that this is literally my life. I'm up at till 2 o'clock, 2:30 in the morning, talking about what's happening and whatnot. So when Christmas Day rolls around, it's like, the NBA. Nope. Roger Goodell says, nah, we are the cash cows. Screw you. You're watching us. Excuse me? Here's 3 games to watch. Man, this used to be just an NBA thing, but now it's the NFL. And it's like, here's the thing. And I realized this last year, and it was my first year, like my first NFL season working in this business as a sports radio host at 97.5 Fanatic. The NFL is always going to be king. You're not, no one in their right mind, whether you work in this profession or not, is going to tell me otherwise. NFL's king. If there's an NFL game that's live, you're not going to say, well, I'm not watching this too early. Nonsense. You get up at 9:30 in the morning to watch NFL games in London or in Germany, for God's sakes. You do. So Christmas Day, it's like, it once belonged to the NBA, but now the NFL decided to tip its toes in it. And it's like, come on, man. And like, I don't mind it, but it becomes, now this is the third tier of what I'm about to address. Multi-screen purpose. If you know you're going to be with family that day, your first screen, your kids, they'll make sure the wife is good. The second screen, carry a tablet or a laptop. You got a game on. If you have a smartphone, you pull it up. Oh, I'm just checking something real quick, honey. Don't worry about it. God damn it, the Rams. Run the ball. Exactly. Like I understand. And this is gonna be like so fun this Christmas, where it's like, look, the Christmas Day game, the Christmas Day slate is gonna be tremendous. Period.
It's too good, but that's the problem. It's too good.
You're right. You're right. It's too good. But you know what it is though? It's Christmas Day Thanksgiving. You can never go wrong. You can go wrong with the turkey leg or the stuffing. You can't go wrong with the mac and cheese. I don't know how you feel about that, but I love mac and cheese.
Come on. I mean,
you know, come on, dog. I mean, you know, like you can't go wrong with the buffet and the table that's in front of you. You just can't. So it becomes, you gotta pace yourself. You try to eat everything too much, you're gonna have coma. You're gonna have food coma. That's what's gonna happen.
Yo, but that's the problem, bro. By the way, we're streaming live. I'm at Ty D Butler on Twitter. He's at Wrights 975, and we're also streaming live on YouTube. So hit the retweet button, hit the like button, share, subscribe.
Please do.
Yo, bro, ain't no way to ease your way. Listen, I'm gonna keep it a stack because it's my YouTube show. I can talk like this. Yes. There's no foreplay on Christmas Day when at noon I've got a rematch of the NBA Finals, Knicks and Spurs into Packers Bears, a legendary NFL rivalry. Then I've got Bills Broncos, 2 teams that could win the Super Bowl. I've got the Lakers and the Sixers. You've got the Thunder. Who are the Thunder? The Wolves. Like there's just too much. Celtics, Heat. I think it is for the NBA.
It's insane.
It's just too much. And so, look, I didn't even think we'd start the show with this,
but it's a great topic,
bro. Like, come on, man.
It's a great topic because look, you can't tell me that Packers Bears is not going to entice you. I know for me, I'm looking forward to seeing Jordan Love versus Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, second year head coach of the Chicago Bears at 1. That's one hell of a start. But then at noon, it's like, you got the defending NBA champion Knicks, who listen, they are going to have the most eyeballs on them all season long. Why? Because the reason is very simple. They are the defending champions. And then the Bills and Broncos, it's like, man, Josh Allen's going back to where he gagged another playoff game. Yep. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, Miami, Boston does not have the same appeal, even though it does now because
Giannis.
because Giannis in Miami. I mean,
Yeah.
that does add a whole different element to this against the Celtics and Jason Tatum. No more Jalen Brown. More on that later. And then speaking of Jalen Brown, at 5 o'clock, you got Sixers, Lakers. LeBron, Jalen going to LA to play the
Yeah.
Lakers. My guy. My guy.
Man.
As you mentioned, these games are just absolutely phenomenal. And then the OKC against Minnesota at 8 o'clock, and couple with that with the Rams and Seahawks. I think the Rams Seahawks is the best football game that day on
Yeah.
Christmas Day.
Absolutely.
And you ask me which game is the best game on Christmas Day in the NBA. Controversial opinion. I think it's Spurs Knicks. I really do. I really do.
That's controversial. It's the two best teams in the NBA.
True.
In the finals, though it only went 5 games, it was an entertaining 5 games.
Very.
And now you got a young Spurs team, trying to wipe its wounds because they should have won that series.
100%.
Because they couldn't close the deal. And if Greg Popovich, I know, is still around. I remember after the 2013 finals, and I bring this up a lot, after they gagged that series away the way that they did,
especially game 6,
Greg Popovich showed up to training camp the very next year and made them rewatch the entirety of game 6. Ooh. And that put a battery in their back, and we saw it all throughout the 2014 season. Yeah, no one's beating them. And so I know that Greg Popovich is still there. He might not be on the sidelines coaching, but he's still working in that organization.
Yes.
So I suspect he does something along those lines. So let's stick with basketball for a moment.
Sure.
I want to get the pulse of the Philly fans. Because the Sixers, they got some juice, man. You go from being down 3-1 in round 1, and you're thinking, oh boy, this sucks. And B's limping around. You come back and win that series. You get Jalen Brown traded to you. You add LeBron James. So what are the Sixers fans talking about? Put me on.
So I want to preface everything that I'm about to say by starting with the following. I'm from New York, born and raised. I got a lot of crap from my colleagues, and I speak lovingly about them at the Fanatic because of the fact that I went to the Knicks parade. I was there. Actually, it's all over social media. And being from New York, and you understand this tie, like that really was a potential once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that you couldn't miss.
Yeah, that's fact.
But I will tell you this, and why it ties directly to my response. Because if the Sixers somehow win the NBA championship this year, I'm saying heavily if, you're going to look back at that series as the defining moment, and I already do. That series between the Knicks and Sixers, it wasn't just the fact that the Knicks beat the Sixers; it was the how. The thing that I will always remember most is several things I'll always remember about the Sixers season, how it ended, and the Knicks championship run is that series, especially games 3 and 4 in Philly.
Oh, the Mother's Day Massacre.
That Mother's Day Massacre. I fully remember like doing shows around that time and thinking they are about to get completely mollywopped. And I can't say that on the air, but I was like, no, they're about to get mollywopped. But my colleagues were like, no. They just at least let it be respectable. I'm like, no. In my head, I'm like, this is a Knicks team that look like they want blood. They don't want win. They want blood. And once I got out to that 30-point lead, and I was actually in the studio working as producer for doing highlights for that game, like for game 4. And once Landry Shamet literally just completely cooked the Sixers, I'm like, they're not coming back. There's a reason why Knicks fans took over that building and turned it into MSG South. So that moment was a moment of truth. I remember this like it was yesterday. That week, the fans were so angry. And I kept saying, there's no way Daryl Morey comes back. There's no way. He's got to go. He gets fired. And I was like, okay, that's part of your problem. The other problem, and I brought this up at the time, what were they going to do? You had $250 million per year contracts on your roster, and Joel Embiid and Paul George.
Terrible.
No way that an NBA executive is going to come into this situation and somehow be able to get themselves out of it. We all know what happened next. The Knicks go on a torrid run that finals conversation with the Knicks. So that's a whole separate off the air conversation that you and I can have. Like, but as far as what happened next, the hiring of Mike Gansey at the time, I was like, okay, does that move the needle for me? No, not really. But what got my attention, and I'll always remember this, was there was already rumblings about the Jaylen Brown discourse in Boston. Mm-hmm. And me being and having spent the amount of time I spent in Boston, I was there for almost a decade, and knowing that city well as I do, and knowing Celtic fans the way that I do, I knew that it was a matter of when Jaylen Brown gets traded. It wasn't if, it was when. What I didn't expect was Mike Gansey was practically the shark. He was the shark in the ocean. Oh, I smell blood. Hey, Brad Stevens, come in. Oh, we'll take him. You want Paul George? Hey, take him. We'll throw him in the deal. Swing the deal. The day it happened, I was like, no.
Yeah.
No way. I was in New York at the Bad Media Audience Summit with a bunch of other fellow sports radio professionals, including your colleague Jake Asman, who I was also with that day. I was sitting at the table with Freddie Coleman, as you know from ESPN Radio nationally, co-host of Freddie and Harry. He could actually attest to this story with being 100% true. He's like, Shukri, look at your phone. I looked at my phone. I'm like, who asked Sham Sharani his tweeter? I looked again. No, ESPN Sports Center. The Celtics traded Jaylen Brown to the Sixers. I said, oh my God. And I knew the meltdown that was happening in Boston, but the sheer level of jubilation in Philly, here in Philly, was like, oh my God, what was the return? And I found out within minutes, Paul George. I was like, Gansey, who are you? And I want to know, you smart son of a gun. That was incredible. How did you manage to pull this off over Brad Stevens? Did you sweeten the deal and say, hey, he's still valuable. He's still a good piece to have. But Jaylen Brown, who was disrespected, who was absolutely carted aside, who said, you know what, we chose Tatum over Brown. I'm like, man, you got an angry and motivated Jaylen Brown in Philly now. To your arch rival, no less, the Sixers.
But that's my question. Is that more savvy and intelligence by the Sixers, or just like the fullest capacity of just stupidity by the Celtics? Like, not only did you trade Jaylen Brown, but you took on Paul George's contract. Like, I got like the and you brought this up because Bill Simmons will do this every year on his podcast. He does like the worst contracts in the NBA.
Yeah,
and Embiid and Paul George are on that list. Those are unequivocally two of the worst contracts.
I agree. Correct.
And the fact that you gave up your best player in a deal to your arch nemesis, your hated rival, who you just blew a 3-1 lead to in the playoffs,
which made it worse.
You armed them with Jaylen Brown, and we can argue about the discourse was kind of annoying. Because the people defending him were overrating him, and then the people who were, criticizing him were underrating him. So it just felt odd. But anyway, so you give them Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
And then it sets up the opening for when LeBron James to decide, you know what? I'm going to take my to Philly. And I love it. Look, I'm a New Yorker. I've got no love for Philly. But as a basketball fan, as someone who leans into all the storylines and the legacy, who eats this stuff up, I'm excited for it, bro.
Honestly, I'm very excited, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it ties back to the Jaylen Brown point that I was gonna make, in which that when you think about Jaylen Brown, I said it when he came here. I did an entire Saturday show, 3 hours just on Jaylen Brown by itself. So many reasons why, if you're a Sixer fan, you should be fired up. Because the truth is, if you're a person that's looking solely at the analytics in terms of Jaylen Brown's value, not only that you are doing yourself a disservice, but I'll even take it a step further in saying that you are undermining the kind of player that he is. I watched this guy up close and personal, like all those years in Boston, like when I lived there. And
Yeah.
it's like the guy knows how to get it done in the playoffs. You needed someone who could do it in the playoffs. The Sixers didn't have that kind of guy. That was one. Two, offensively, defensively. I thought that this was a guy that you were getting that was going to be an immediate boost to your defensive woes for the Sixers because they had problems defensively and it got highlighted in that series against the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
So you get him. So now the rumblings become okay. What does LeBron do? Where's LeBron going to go? The Knicks didn't want him. I was like, okay. So in the back of my head, I'm like, what if he comes to Philly? I was like, but there's no way though. But there's no way he's going to choose Philly. But the more I sat back and I thought about it, I said, it makes too much sense. It makes too much sense because not only you don't have to be the guy. You just got Jaylen Brown. You still got a young VJ Edgecombe who's entering his second year, by the way, who still has a whole nother level to get to. He's only 21, and a Tyrese Maxey who's only going to get better. He's only going to benefit from Jaylen Brown's tutelage. And I mentioned this makes too much sense. And by the way, we didn't even talk about Joel Embiid. When healthy, he's still a top 5 center in the NBA. He still is.
That's the problem. 37 games, 38 games the last couple of years. It's
correct. Yes.
Like with every single, the more we do if he stays healthy, the less it becomes likely he'll stay healthy because we keep talking about it. And so it's to me, the biggest variable or even X factor, which is weird to say about an MVP. The biggest X factor entering next year's NBA season is Joel Embiid. Because to your point, if he's healthy, boy, look, I've got a lot of love and respect for the Knicks, what they accomplished, not just winning the championship, 16-3, set the point differential record, beat the 62-win Spurs. They spanked them, packed them up. I got it. If Embiid's healthy, man, the Sixers are the best team in the Eastern Conference.
I actually agree.
And if LeBron, and it's perfect too. And look, I didn't love the Golden State option for LeBron because that's Steph's team and you can't win. I didn't love Miami because it's a weird fit. You, Bam, and Giannis, you can't win.
Yeah.
Phillips, the Knicks is a no-win situation because if he does win, it's like, oh, you hopped on the bandwagon. And if he doesn't win, it's his fault. You messed up the chemistry. The Sixers are perfect because they haven't won since '83. You know this. Yeah. And it's a bunch, I don't want to call them misfits, but Maxey's got a chip on his shoulder because he's like, why am I not discussed as one of the best players in the NBA? Jaylen Brown got traded after being the best player on the 2 seed.
And also remember the struggles that he had in the series against the Knicks as well. Remember that too.
Absolutely. So LeBron comes in and it's like all legacy from here because just imagine he takes a 4th different franchise to the mountaintop. It's nothing we've ever seen before. It's nothing we're ever going to see again. Yeah. And so the Philadelphia story is just like you're intoxicated by it because it's so interesting.
It is, and it reflects in the NBA schedule, which just got released in its entirety today, this afternoon, not even 4.5 hours ago. For all 30 teams around the NBA, the full 82-game schedule. No team in the NBA is highlighted on national TV, whether it's ESPN, ABC, or NBC, Peacock, or Prime, more than the Sixers are 36 times this season.
Yeah,
that storyline, without a doubt, is going to generate massive interest. Think about it. Just about every single major holiday during the NBA season, the Sixers are playing. Christmas Day, they're playing MLK Day, they're playing President's Day. It's unbelievable. And I think that storyline alone, combined with the fact that you talked about the X Factor, I saw the recent photos that came out with Joel Embiid in terms of his physique and his overall health, and that he looks completely healthy.
Yo, is he on the Ozempic? What's up?
I'm thinking, I don't know if he's on the Ozempic, but he looks like he's on something because this is the best I've seen him look, in all seriousness, since he won the MVP 3 years ago. He has not looked that good physically, but of course, you got to play the game. No one, that's why I said earlier, no one questions when he's healthy. Yeah, this is still a top 5 center in the NBA. He's in that class with Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets. And so for me, I look at Joel Embiid and I look at this story for the Sixers. If it somehow all materializes, especially with LeBron being here in Philly, brother, the parade that will be in Philly if it happens a year from now
Wait, so you
would
going to that parade too?
no. Listen, the only way I would go to that parade is if I'm asked to, if my job 97.5 Fanatic, which were the flagship on the Sixers, asked me to go. That's the only way I would go. Outside of that, I'm like,
Yo, cause how they treating you down there, knowing that you're a New Yorker?
I mean, it's at times it can be challenging because I'm a Yankee fan. That's not a
Wow.
secret. I am a Yankee fan to the core. Like it can be challenging, but where it gets interesting though, I would say is for me because they treat me very well overall. I'm gonna be honest with you, they do. But overall, when it comes to sports, it's like whenever I wear different fitteds because I love baseball fitteds. I love the style. That's what I get. It's like, yo, you wear a Braves hat today? Yo, you wearing a White Sox hat today? Like, which one is it? I'm like, I wear it for
That's-
style.
Yeah,
Like, I like that's all there is to it. I'm not a
yeah.
White Sox fan. I'm a Yankee fan. Like, who wears 7 different fitteds? But if it happens, in all seriousness, it would be, and I think an all-time great sports story in itself because for the fact that it's never done before. Four different teams or players led them to an NBA title, and it would be obviously LeBron's fifth, with just one short of Jordan.
All right, a couple more topics I want to hit with you.
Sure.
Nick fans feeling a little disrespected because
Mm,
first, first, first championship in 53 years. Got
yeah.
it. Ring night. Yo, there is multiple generations of Knicks fans
Yeah.
who have never experienced this.
Hmm.
And again, it's not just winning the championship, though that would have been all that was necessary. It
Sure.
was how they won, unified
Correct.
city, the watch parties, and you've got the
I was there.
culmination of all of that. Yep,
Hmm.
with dropping this banner at the Garden, and
Hmm.
yet nationally, the biggest story won't be the New York Knicks, man. Locally, yes, of course, it's the
Hmm.
Knicks,
Yeah.
Brunson, Cat, and all that.
Hmm.
Nationally, the biggest story is LeBron
Ron.
as he enters year 24. And so there's a slight bit of disrespect because it's like, hey, man, can we have our night?
Yeah.
But there was LeBron was playing opening night, regardless of where he went. If he had ended up in Golden State, it would have been Warriors at the Knicks. If he ended up in Miami, it would have been Heat at. LeBron was going to play opening night regardless. So for the Knicks fans who feel slighted, feel disrespected, listen, just embrace it. Y'all
Got
love
to.
being underdogs anyway. Y'all love it.
Exactly. Like you have to embrace it. And this is what I would say to Knicks fans. I would say, look, you shouldn't feel disrespectful. And I'm gonna tell you why. It was not that long ago. It was a complete pipe dream, a fallacy, if you will, that the Knicks will be playing on NBA opening night, banner night at MSG. Like
Yeah.
if you're from New York, if you're from the tri-state region, you know what the hell I'm talking about. Let's not have this crazy revisionist history. It was not that long ago. Hell, even just 5 years ago, when Julius Randle was still here, and Hardestein was still around, and everybody else, it was still a pipe dream. This
Hmm.
is now part of your new reality.
Yeah.
And your new reality is that you are going to be the main stage. You're playing on Christmas Day against the Spurs in the NBA Finals rematch. But to take it a step further in terms of the LeBron discourse, you can't be surprised because we just talked about the storylines in terms of LeBron going to Philly when it happened. When it happened, and I said it on Sunday on my show on Sunday on 97.5 The Fanatic. It can't be anybody else. It can't be Sixers and Knicks. And it can't be anybody else but those two teams.
Yeah.
It just makes too much sense. Think about it too. And I think this is where people tend to forget this. You got to think TV executives. What do the TV executives at NBC Sports want? They want eyeballs. Why do you think Celtics Pistons was the freaking, appetizer,
Yeah.
not the main course?
Which I love, by the way. I don't know
I,
why
I don't have a
people.
problem with it at all,
I
honestly.
don't know why. If you're a basketball or a sports fan, you're complaining about more basketball. Like that doesn't make sense to
The
me.
3 o'clock start is too early. Are you
Oh
kidding
my
me?
goodness. Cut it out. Like,
Whiners.
listen, like
Seriously.
in 2026, you can
Hmm.
find a way to watch a damn game.
Yeah.
Um, Before we get to the NFL, you
Yeah.
mentioned you're a Yankees fan.
Hmm.
1-0 loss today. Once again, listen, it's hard to be upset because they erupted last night
They
offensively,
did. Yeah.
but they've been playing very, very well. Won some series against some really good teams. So
Hmm.
look, I got the radio show tomorrow on ESPN New York. It
Sweet.
would be disingenuous for me to go on there yelling and screaming, "How do you lose 1-0?" But
Yeah.
it's just like, man, like how much am I buying into this team, knowing that it's all gonna come down to the health of Aaron Judge.
It
And
is.
I just don't know that a dude misses 3.5 months can just come back and be great in the biggest games of the season when we've questioned uh last year notwithstanding if he can perform well in the biggest games of the season when healthy. And now he's not
That's a
going to
great
be
point.
100% healthy.
And that's why this storyline with the Yankees, this upcoming stretch where we're now entering the second half of August is going to be one that's very fascinating. What will Aaron Judge look like once he gets healthy? But I think the even bigger question is, what if he isn't? What if he still, let's say he does return, even if he does return, what if he still isn't physically right? Then what? And then who knows about, also, don't forget, Giancarlo Stanton. He was
Yeah.
just running the bases the other day. So it's like, okay, like with Giancarlo, the thing I can definitively say about him is that you never can question him about his ability to show up in October. He's done that his entire Yankee career. With Judge, you can't make that same
Yeah.
claim. And especially now where you're entering a legacy phase of your career where Aaron Judge, if he retired today, he's certainly going to be a Hall of Famer. He is.
No question.
Call it for what it is. But, and this is where the New York aspect comes in, whereas the New Yorker in me is like, yeah, but you're
Yeah.
another Don Mattingly, except that you are better than Don Mattingly in your prime. I
Yeah.
mean, but like, I mean, that's debatable. But you get the point. But the point I'm making is this: is that in terms of today's game in itself, like a 1-0 loss. Look, I mean, I thought that overall, this was a fascinating series in which that it told me two things. Number one, the kids are okay. I like George Lombard Jr. a lot, and I like Spencer Jones a lot. I like
Mhm.
what I've seen from the kids. Those kids, I think they're going to be pillars for the Yankee organization moving forward for years to come. The big thing that I do worry about at times is about the offense. Can the offense be consistent enough to produce, especially with runners in scoring position in tight and close ball games? That I wonder about, and I think it's going to be something that I'm going to be curious to keep an eye on moving forward.
All right. So as we transition to the NFL,
Mhm.
I have been an advocate for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I remember last year around this time
Hmm.
arguing with one of my main mans, Bart Scott,
I know. Yeah.
because I said Jalen Hurts. Now it didn't age well, but I said Jalen Hurts the top 5 quarterback. I've seen that dude
Mm.
finish second in the league in MVP. I've seen him. What is it? 4 years ago now, outplay Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I saw him 2 years ago win the Super Bowl MVP. I understand his defense was great.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts might not always look pretty, but he gets the job done. I'm not a big quarterback wins guy, but when you consistently win and you play your best football in the cold months, I've got
Hmm.
to respect it. Now, last year obviously was underwhelming, and the entire team, I thought, played beneath its standards, and they had some injuries on the offensive line, and
Yeah.
Saquon wasn't as good, and the AJ Brown stuff was loud and
Very,
noisy.
very
I
loud.
do think I'm very curious because it defies football is the only sport where like this kind of thing can defy conventional wisdom. In no other sport do you
Hmm.
get rid of one of your best players and say, "Oh, I actually feel better about the team." Like that doesn't happen in any other
It
sport.
doesn't.
Because
Yeah.
in the NFL, it's like diva wide receiver. Like this happened with Steph Diggs in Buffalo. Like
Yeah.
now that a quarterback does not feel like he has to force feed a receiver, and he can
Mhm.
just play his game and not have all these other things, serving as an impediment
Correct.
psychologically, does it unlock something for him to where he feels comfortable? And I'm curious to see that. Now, look, it's Philly, a lot of pressure.
Mhm.
Sirianni, I think if things go sideways at the end of the year, he could be out, which is crazy. My man just won the Super Bowl 2 years
Yeah.
ago. But the Philadelphia Eagles, I still think are the best team in the NFC East. I still think can win the Super Bowl. What say you?
Here's the craziest thing I'll probably will say on this show, Ty.
Uh-oh.
The Philadelphia Eagles have the highest ceiling of any team in the NFL and the lowest ceiling of any team in the NFL.
Okay. I
If
like
this team went 13-4 or 14-3, I wouldn't be shocked because
if
the
they went
offensive
eight and
line.
nine.
If they went 6-11, I would not be surprised. And that 6-11, what is coming from the fact that second consecutive year you hire a guy who has never called plays in the NFL before. You did it last year with Kevin Patullo, and I absolutely eviscerated him on the air live,
Terrible.
almost on a weekly basis. Whereas I had my big boss, like the market manager, holler at me in the hallway, like, "Yo, you were tough on Patullo this week, man." I'm like, "Yeah, deservedly so." But it wasn't anything bad. It was more of like, "Man, you made some good points, but man, you were tough on him." I'm like, "Yeah, because this is Philadelphia. Do you not understand that?" And obviously, they all know this. We all know this. This is Philadelphia. I would actually argue that Philadelphia, from what I have seen and experienced, being from New York, lived in Boston almost a decade, been here in Philly now almost 3 years, entering season number 2, NFL season number 2, working at the Fanatic on their talent. Philadelphia is the most intense major market NFL city in the country because in Philadelphia, only in Philadelphia does it matter who your offensive coordinator is, and you get killed for on a weekly basis. That's not exaggeration. I live it. It's only in Philadelphia where your quarterback, Jalen Hurts in this case, gets completely mollywopped if he has a bad game, and you start questioning whether if he has the ability to get the job done and win a consistent level. Only in Philadelphia does it happen in which that your offensive line coach retires and it be a massive story. Jeff Stoutland retired, not left the organization, and it was a major story. Only in Philadelphia. But I say all of that to say, in terms of the Eagles and in terms of Jalen Hurts in particular, the level of disrespect that the man receives is unbelievable. It really is. It's like if he wins well, it's because the defense was great. The defense so far
Mhm.
through training camp has looked terrific, according to Vic Fangio. He does not throw around praise lightly at all. So when he says it, it actually means something. That's one. Two, Jalen Hurts. The criticism I had for him was loud and clear last year. The AJ Brown situation was one thing, and it was a big one. Don't get it
Mhm.
twisted. But in terms of his ability to throw the ball down the field, it was lacking big
Yeah.
time. He was overthrowing receivers at times. He was underthrowing it at times. There are times where the play calling was a major issue and a big reason why the Eagles regressed the way they did it a season ago, and the season came to a burning halt
Yeah, I
against the
mean,
Niners.
even the play call to end the game against the Niners
The
was
night that was my last memory of the 2025 season. That last call I was like, what the hell was that?
yeah,
Like truly. But I say that to say in conclusion, in terms of like Jalen Hurts, I would not be surprised if he goes on an absolute tear, because one thing that I have read about throughout this entire training camp thus far, as we're now upon week 1 of the preseason, is that he is using his legs again, something he did not do at all last year, and that made him dangerous in 2024, and it's going to make him dangerous again in 2026 under Sean Manning, a new play caller, a new offensive scheme, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. But that's why I said that this team has the highest and the lowest ceiling of any NFL team this year. It can either go really well or it can go equally badly, or if not worse than last year.
yeah. The disparity between like what they could look like if they're great, um, versus like you could see if it happens. I don't see 6-11, but I could certainly see like an 8-9 season. and they fall out of it because the division also, if Jaden stays healthy, a lot of people here in New York and nationwide expect the Giants to take this leap with Harbaugh and Jackson Dart in his second year, and I think the
Mm,
Cowboys will be. Oh, okay. I'm curious. We'll get there. I think the Cowboys. We know they can score. They're always going to put up points. So
yeah,
it's how much help can they get from their defense, and
that's
if
the
it's
big one.
just a touch better than what they got last year,
Yeah.
then the Cowboys will be very, very dangerous. You're not sold on the Giants. Why not?
No, because look, this is different when John Harbaugh first took over in Baltimore when he had a young Joe Flacco and so forth. This is different. I feel like this situation with the Giants is going to take time. It's going to take time. It's not to say that this team is devoid of talent. I like what I have seen from Abdul Carter. I like what I've seen from Burns, the linebacker. I like what I've seen from Cam's Scatterbo, even though he's coming back from the torn ACL and so forth. But with young quarterbacks like Jackson Dart, you need time to learn a new head coach and its offensive schemes. Like it's not the same in comparison to when, like a year ago, like like he was playing with Brian Daboll and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's not the same at all. And I just think that with the Giants, they have been so mediocre for so long. I feel like as if like yes, they have the talent to begin to turn around, but I don't think this leap happens in year one. I think it happens probably in year two because
Okay.
I do think that Jackson Dart has a lot to learn. And then also the big caveat in this is that the health of Malik Neighbors. You gotta start there. If he's not healthy, I don't think this passing attack for the Giants is remotely even average according to NFL standards. If he's healthy, I think it's average and then some. Like that, it's starting at average, but I just don't see this 2026 Giants team making a big leap. But I do see some area of improvement though.
So I think the point on Harbaugh is in Baltimore, the culture was already established.
Right.
This is the Giants have been a dumpster fire for a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Absent 2022, they made the playoffs. 2016, they made the playoffs. But for the most part, they have
It's been
been
a
one of the
wasteland.
worst teams in the NFL. And
Mm-hmm.
so there is a significant difference in coming to install a culture for,
Yes.
yes, a, historic landmark franchise,
Mm-hmm.
but one that has been a train wreck. There's a difference between that and what you had in Baltimore. And so maybe there are some bumps in the road. And my pushback to Giant fans always is because they will bring up all of the blown fourth quarter leads they had last year. Look at
Mm-hmm.
what we did against Detroit and
Yeah.
against Denver and against all these teams. They want to bring up the blown fourth quarter leads.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Go
Good
talk to
point.
Ravens fans about blowing fourth quarter leads with John Harbaugh as their head coach. Go talk to Ravens
Mm-hmm.
fans about that. How their season started last year. They should have beat the Bills on Sunday Night Football,
Easily.
and they blew
Should
a
have.
double digit lead. And some of that's got to fall on Lamar, but that's also on the head coach. So I've got
Yeah.
some reservations. I think people are a little bit too high on the Giants. We shall see. But it's going to be a lot
Same.
of fun. It's going to be a lot of
Same
fun.
here.
Rams or the field. Rams or the field.
Oh man. I think it's I think it's the field. Because the reason is because I think with this upcoming season that's now we're in preseason now, but I think that there's a big question mark in Kansas City in regards to Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. As long as you have a quarterback, you have a chance. And like you have Rasheed Rice who is back again this year. You have another year of Travis Kelsey who is back for another year.
Kenneth
And I
Walker did.
wonder
Yeah.
yeah, like and I wonder about the defense in Kansas City. That's first starting point. You got to start in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes. The second thing, we just talked about the Eagles. I do genuinely believe if all does click, if it all does click, but they do have injury concerns. But Kyle Lemon has missed time due to soft tissue injury. So has Devontae Smith. He's also missed time with soft tissue injury, the hamstring injury as well. So some of the other young guys, like other guys who have stepped up, like Dontavian Wicks, like it's also going to be interesting to see how does he, fit into the mold in the Sean Mannion offense and so forth. But the offensive line, as long as it stays healthy, I think they'll be just fine. There's the Eagles as well, but I would even go back into the AFC, and this is where I struggle with in terms of when you think about the field. I really struggle with New England, with the Patriots. I feel they have major holes on this roster. What is the major hole? They got a number one receiver in AJ Brown. Pass rush. Start there. They're lacking an edge rusher, and it's going to be a problem if they don't figure out how they're going to generate pressure on the quarterback, especially you're playing in the AFC East and you're playing in the same division as Josh Allen, and you don't have an edge rusher, a guy who can actually get up to the quarterback. That's going to be a problem. But if you talk about top to bottom, I do like the Rams a lot. It would not shock me if they beat the Eagles to come out of the NFC, but I actually do think that it's still the field because of the fact that I think that there is a team that could potentially be a legitimate dark horse this season. And it's going to sound
I
crazy.
would say the Saints.
No, I think it's Detroit. I do think
is that really a dark horse?
Yes, because I feel like Detroit is being slept on to a degree. I still believe in Dan Campbell and Jared Goff, but I also will take it a step further in saying that look, Goff and I'm on Ross St. Brown. They are one of the best quarterback receiving duos in the National Football League. So I do think that Detroit still has the ability to make noise in the NFC, which is part of the reason why it would not shock me if Lions and Rams meet up at some point in the playoffs once we get to January. But it's going to be fun as hell to watch this season as it unfolds, man. I really can't wait for September.
Yo, the NFC just has too many teams like I was doing this exercise on the radio the other day, like trying to pick the playoff teams in the NFC.
It's hard.
And it's like Cowboys, Eagles too. And then the North, you could see 3 teams making a play. I know Kyler Murray just got the job in Minnesota. You could see Bears, Lions, Packers. That's 5 already. Someone's got to win the South at 6. Right. Then it's like Rams, Niners, Seahawks. I just think the NFC is just so difficult to figure out, man. There's going to be one. And now injuries, of course, will play a role in it. But there's like when the music stops, there's going to be that one team like without a chair that we expected could have possibly contended for a championship, and they just didn't even make the playoffs outright.
Exactly.
So, yeah, unfortunately, I'm a Jets fan, and making the playoffs is just not, part of our
flowers.
Yeah, it's not part of our tradition. It's 16 years now.
You went back to Geno Smith, for God's sakes.
What were you doing? By the way, so what were you doing 16 years ago? How different was life 16 years ago?
16 years ago, I was in LIU. I was at LIU Brooklyn as a college student, as an undergrad student. I vividly remember.
Bro, that's the last time the Jets made the playoffs.
Yeah, like that was when Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan was still the bombastic voices. I mean, mainly Rex Ryan, of course. He was the bombastic voice of New York Jets football, dominating the headlines of the New York Daily News and the New York Post. Man, what a freaking time that it was to be alive. I mean, watching him, Sanchez, LaDainian Tomlinson in his final year of his Hall of Fame career, Santonio Holmes, like just that Jet defense, that offensive line with Nick Mangold. Like hopefully one day he gets into the Hall of Fame and Mike can listen out to his family as well. Absolutely. I mean, like it was one hell of a time to really watch the New York Jets.
But that was 16 years ago,
which is crazy because the football scene in New York 16 years ago, it wasn't just the Jets that were entertaining. Hell, the Giants, their late season choke against the Eagles started their collapse and end up missing the playoffs entirely. I mean, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but what a time it was for real.
Yo, it's crazy. NBA season, just 2 months away from the NBA season. It's wild, man, because it feels like the year just ended. But yesterday, I think, was the 2-month anniversary of the Knicks winning Game 5 against the Spurs. So we're 2 months away from the NBA season. We are approaching 4 Sundays away from the NFL season, and then we're in the midst of this baseball thing. So let's end it on a baseball note
Sure.
because I know you do the baseball podcast.
Mhm.
Who's beating the Dodgers?
Right now, nobody. Not even,
Yes,
not even,
that's
not
right.
not 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 even the Yankees. I mean, I no, because I just think that this team is too well oiled, too well constructed. Yes, they are what we as the Yankee fans used to see our team as the
Yeah,
cash cow, the team that would spend the money to get the talent, to get the best players possible. And I just think that look, like the Dodgers, like once October rolls around, they know how to get it done.
yeah,
That's part of the reason why I don't see anybody being the Dodgers, honestly.
yeah. Three-peat and then into a lockout. That'll be fun.
Yeah,
Yo, Shukri
brutal.
Wrights, 97.5, the Fanatic. Yo, this was fun, man. We got to do this again. This was a blast.
Yeah, yeah. I had a lot of fun with you, Ty. Like seriously, thank you for having me on. And man, you talk about taking me down like memory lane back to 2010. What was New York back in 2010? I mean, dude, what a time it was between the Jets still being relevant, the Giants very much relevant.
The Knicks were
Like
a disaster.
the Knicks. Yeah, but yet again, like this was
They
like
were,
actually this was a season before they acquired Carmelo, and
yes,
they did just get Amari Stoudemire as well.
yes. So
Like so,
You had
yeah,
Felton and
Ray
Amari
Felton,
doing their thing.
Gallinari, yep, yeah,
Yeah, so they
yeah,
were on their way to like becoming relevant, but that was only going to be short lived.
yeah.
The
Mm-hmm.
Yankees, remember
The,
championship? That used to be a thing for the Yankees.
yes,
They were
yeah,
coming
like
off that. The
mm-hmm.
Mets had that.
Disastrous 2010.
Yeah, the Mets were back-to-back collapses in 07 and 08.
Yeah,
And if you're in Philadelphia, the Phillies had just won a championship as well. So 2010s, man, like
yeah,
that's a time. But
for real.
yo, good luck on everything going forward. This was a
Thank
blast. We'll
you.
definitely link up again. And I appreciate you joining the show tonight, my brother.
Yeah, absolutely. My pleasure, Ty. Thank you for having me on. I'll be happy to come on anytime. Just give me the word.
By the way, so what you got coming up? Tell the people what you got cooking.
So Saturday I'll be hosting on 97.5 The Fanatic from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm gonna have my guy Keith McPherson join the show to
Hey,
talk
that's my
about
woman.
Sixers and Knicks opening night, get his thoughts on it. Plus look for the Eagles Ravens week 1, the preseason. That's Saturday night. I'm in Baltimore, so that it's always going to be Eagles conversation as well. So can't wait to get a chopping Saturday morning on 97.5 The Fanatic from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
All right, my man. Appreciate you, dog. Holla at me and have a great rest of your night.
Absolutely. My pleasure, man. Have a good rest of your night, man. Take care.
Shukri Rice. What a fun show that was. He's awesome, man. This was the first time I got a chance to chop it up with him, and he's dope. We're definitely gonna do that again. Big up to all of you guys out there. It's been a long day. We had 2 shows today. My man Maurice Bernard. I'm still high off of that. He pulled up on your boy 2 o'clock. If you missed it, go check out the podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on my Twitter at Ty D Butler. Like, share, subscribe, do that whole thing. That was a fun conversation. And Shukri writes, he had a lot to say this evening, which happy for the brother. As he said, we need to see more people who look like us in this industry. Get some representation. So at Ty D Butler, Twitter, Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Programming note once again, I'm gonna be on ESPN New York Radio from 10 to 1. I'm filling in for Carlin, 10 to 1. I've got Gary Sheffield Jr. hopping on the show. So that should be fun. I think I might do a Ty Butler YouTube show in the mid-afternoon, but I'm on SNY TV tomorrow night. So it's going to be an action-packed day. And then Sunday morning, the Ty Butler show is on ESPN New York Radio from 8 to noon. First watchables. What is it? Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's the movie we're reviewing. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Have a great rest of the evening. Holla at your boy.